had one of my clients come to me in the last few days and say that she feels like she's just existing. I think many of us know that feeling. My name's Monique Rhodes. I'm a happiness strategist. My courses are used in over 70 colleges and universities worldwide, and I've helped thousands and thousands of people become happier. So there's a moment in many people's lives that it can be like quiet, it can be quite unmistakable when something doesn't feel quite right anymore. So you wake up, you go through the motions, you handle your responsibilities, you keep up appearances, and from the outside, everything looks fine. Maybe your life even looks enviable. But somewhere beneath it all, there's this persistent, almost low hum of unease, the sense that something essential's missing in your life. And that feeling's usually quite quiet. Maybe it shows up as fatigue that doesn't matter how much sleep you get, it doesn't fix it. Or an irritation you can't quite explain. Or that longing for something more, something real, even if you can't name what that thing is. It's kind of like your inner self's way of saying, I'm existing, but I'm not really living. So what I see is that we live in a world that teaches us really how to perform well, how to be productive, how to be agreeable, how to be successful, how to be efficient. And from a very young age, we're taught how to adjust and accommodate. We adjust and accommodate to what our families want, our cultures want, or even our peer groups are expecting of us. And when we do this, without even realizing it, we begin to silence parts of ourselves. The messy parts, the curious parts, the parts that don't quite fit the mold. And this is how existing takes over living. It's how we become so good at playing our roles, worker, parent, friend, partner, that we forget there's someone underneath the role who also needs to breathe. So authentic living, on the other hand, asks something different of us. It asks us to turn inward, to stop performing, to start listening. It asks us not what should I be doing, but what's true for me? Very different question. And it can be quite disorienting at first, especially if you've been on autopilot for years. But it's also a door. It is a gentle invitation to return to yourself. I remember working with a woman who came to me in the middle of a bit of a crisis she was having. It was nothing dramatic. There was no huge breakdown. There was no big upheaval. But she said, I don't feel like myself anymore, and I don't know how long it's been this way. So she had a good job. She had a nice partner. She had a comfortable home, and everything looked fine. But she felt disconnected. She felt as if her life was happening to someone else. And when we explored it together, what emerged was that she had built her life around being the person everyone needed her to be. She was the reliable one. She was the problem solver. She was the achiever. But she hadn't stopped to ask herself what she actually wanted in years. And one afternoon, after we'd had a long conversation, she said something to me that really stuck with me. She told me that she had been editing herself for so long that she didn't even know what the unedited version of herself sounds like anymore. That's the cost of living disconnected from your authenticity. You become so good at pleasing, performing, producing that you lose access to your inner compass. So you forget what brings you happiness. You forget what you're curious about. You forget that your opinions matter, even if they go against the grain. But authenticity isn't about rebelling or throwing everything away. It's about softening back into alignment with what's real. So it's about paying attention to how things actually feel rather than how they're supposed to look. It's about being honest with yourself, about what lights you up and what dims you. And sometimes that honesty leads to small shifts, like setting better boundaries or speaking more truthfully. And other times it can lead to big changes, a new path, a new calling, a new way of showing up in the world. But it's not always easy. That's why so few people actually manage to do it. Because living authentically means that you have to face a little bit of discomfort. You have to let go of old identities that earned you approval. You have to trust yourself even when other people don't understand. But the reward is you will start to feel alive again. You will start to recognize yourself. Not the polished version, but the real one. You're going to begin to feel more peaceful in your own skin. And little by little, you're going to stop outsourcing your sense of worth to other people's reactions. You'll reclaim it from within. So if you're feeling like you're just going through the motions lately, I want you to know that you're not alone. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means a deeper truth is trying to surface. A part of you is asking for more, not in terms of things or status, but in terms of you. So you're not here to fit in perfectly. You're not here to perform a version of life that someone else wrote for you. You are here to be fully, fiercely, unapologetically you. And the moment you begin to move in that direction, even with small steps, is the moment you stop merely existing and begin truly living. I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like to know more tips of how to be happier, subscribe so I can teach you some more. As always, be kind, take care, go gently in the world.